Imagine living in a world where a single short flight, a sprawling mansion, or a weekend trip on a private yacht consumes as many resources as an average person might use in months, if not years. While most of us are encouraged to recycle, conserve water, and limit our carbon footprint, the world's wealthiest are living a vastly different reality. Private jets, super yachts, and estates with multiple homes are just a few of the ways the ultra-rich consume resources on a massive scale. In 2015, the wealthiest 10% of people were responsible for half of the global emissions, according to a 2020 report from Oxfam and the Stockholm Environment Institute. The top 1% alone accounted for 15% of emissions, nearly double that of the world's poorest 50%, who generated only 7% of emissions. Ironically, it is these vulnerable communities that bear the heaviest consequences of climate change, despite their minimal role in causing it. As these figures show, the environmental impact of the wealthiest often far exceeds that of average individuals, raising urgent questions about accountability and sustainable action. Take private jets, for instance. Reserved for convenience and status, they produce emissions up to 10 times higher per passenger than a commercial flight. In 2022, celebrities like Taylor Swift, Kylie Jenner and Steven Spielberg faced criticism for using private jets for extremely short flights, some lasting under 20 minutes. These flights add up quickly. In a year, the fuel emissions from just a few of these flights are equivalent to hundreds of car emissions combined. Take Bill Gates, a high-profile advocate for climate action, who reportedly took 59 flights in a single year, covering 343,500 kilometers, a distance equivalent to circling the globe 8 times. Those flights generated more than 1,600 tons of greenhouse gases, roughly the annual emissions of 105 average Americans. Then there are luxury yachts, which epitomize the resource consumption of the ultra-wealthy. Jeff Bezos' latest $500 million super yacht, complete with a support yacht, is designed for indulgence, but it's estimated to release thousands of tons of carbon dioxide annually, the same emissions as hundreds of cars. While yachts offer a luxurious escape, they also underscore how the wealthiest can make lifestyle choices that leave a considerable environmental footprint. Water usage is another significant concern. Did you know that the water used to maintain a single golf course could sustain a household of 5 people for 6 months? In drought-stricken California, celebrities and wealthy residents have come under fire for exceeding water limits in their estates, disregarding restrictions that others must follow. With large lawns, pools, and extensive landscaping, estates owned by figures like Kim Kardashian and Sylvester Stallone often consume water at rates much higher than the average household. In regions struggling to conserve water, this pattern of overuse stands out. The impact isn't limited to travel and water use. Real estate holdings are a surprising yet potent contributor to the wealth gap in resource consumption. Many wealthy individuals own multiple properties, often left vacant for long stretches, that still require heating, cooling, and maintenance. Elon Musk, for example, at one point owned several mansions in California, each with its own environmental footprint. These homes use substantial resources to maintain, even if only inhabited part-time, highlighting the disparity between the environmental impact of one home versus several. Luxury fashion isn't just about high costs and exclusivity. It often relies on materials with significant environmental and ethical implications. Many high-end brands use exotic animal skins like crocodile, alligator, and snakeskin for bags, shoes, and accessories, contributing to the depletion of wildlife and biodiversity. Crocodile farms, for instance, keep animals in confined conditions, raising them solely for their skin. These practices are not only ethically questionable, but also contribute to ecosystem disruption as wild populations of these animals decline due to illegal hunting and overfarming. Then there's the use of animal furs, long associated with luxury and prestige, but fraught with ethical and environmental concerns. Minks, foxes, and other animals are raised in captivity under poor conditions for their fur, contributing to pollution from fur farms. Many high-end brands are gradually phasing out the use of exotic skins and furs due to consumer pressure, but these materials remain status symbols in some circles, particularly among the ultra-wealthy. This demand fuels a high-impact industry, both environmentally and ethically, which often prioritizes luxury over sustainability. Eating exotic animals is another way the ultra-wealthy leave a significant environmental and ethical footprint. Rare species like sharks, whales, and endangered birds are considered delicacies in certain high-end circles, but the demand for these luxury foods has dire consequences for biodiversity and ecosystems. Shark fin soup, for instance, has led to the brutal practice of finning, where sharks are captured, mutilated, and thrown back into the ocean, putting already endangered species at risk. The depletion of shark populations disrupts marine ecosystems, which rely on them to maintain balance. The exploitation of endangered species for indulgence puts both biodiversity and the planet at risk. In November 2009, a massive trove of emails and documents was leaked from the University of East Anglia's Climatic Research Unit, sparking a scandal that quickly became known as ClimateGate. The emails, exchanged over more than a decade among some of the world's top climate scientists, were filled with technical jargon and informal language. But skeptics of climate change seized on a few specific phrases and conversations as proof that climate scientists were manipulating data to exaggerate the threat of global warming. And who's funding many of the climate research studies? Isn't it often the wealthiest individuals and corporations who have the most to gain from controlling the narrative on climate change? So, when we're told to reduce our water usage or cut down on plastic, we need to question, is the burden truly on us, or is it time to hold the wealthiest accountable for their outsized environmental impact? While we strive to live more sustainably, it's the lifestyles of the world's richest consuming vast resources and creating pollution that are pushing our planet to the brink.